Hi, it's Sam here, and I wanted to talk today about persistence coaching. Now, in the incredible years, persistence coaching is one of four types of coaching that we can use with children. We have academic coaching, persistence coaching, social coaching, and emotion coaching. Today, I want to talk specifically about persistence coaching because I think it's so important for young children in their actually it's a bit of a life skill, and it helps with their school readiness. So when we think of persistence, we think of the internal skill, the internal kind of mechanism to be able to keep on going with a task, even though it might be really, really tricky. It's that kind of that confidence to keep going, the ability to regulate your emotions, even though something might be quite frustrating, and it might be you might be getting quite annoyed with something, but then you are still able to keep focused on it until you succeed in a task. I kind of liken this to trying to thread a needle. So you could be trying to thread a needle and it might be really, really tricky, but you might be feeling frustrated, you might be kind of getting those knots inside thinking, come on, just thread. But you keep on going until you eventually get it. It's that kind of thing. Now, with children, I like to think of persistence in two kind of camps, really. There's the keeping going and keeping trying with a task to make sure that you complete it. And actually, the more you keep trying, the easier the task gets. So there's that skill development. But also there's the element of, in with that is concentration. So for particularly for inattentive children where their concentration levels might be all over the place, you might be thinking, my kid can't concentrate. Then it's a really, really useful technique to be able to help children to learn that skill. And I just want you to think back as for when you were at school, how many times you get told, you need to concentrate. Why can't you concentrate? Listen, you have to concentrate. Keep concentrating. If you concentrate, you'll understand it. And for a lot of children, they might be brought up and they might hear from school, actually, why can't you concentrate? He's no good at concentrating. He just can't concentrate. Or he finds it really hard to concentrate. So what happens then is that children hear all of this and they start to believe, yeah, I'm no good at concentrating, I can't do it, I'm just rubbish. So then when they end up in those situations where they're told you need to concentrate, what they're then thinking is, yeah, I'm no good at that, I can't do it, there's no point in me even trying because I know I can't do it. So there's no motivation to even try. So what persistence coaching also does is it helps to kind of flip that viewpoint so that children hear that I'm concentrating, I can concentrate. So at those times when they're told you need to concentrate, instead of thinking, can't do that, what they're actually thinking is, right, I've got you, I know what I'm doing here, yeah, I'm good at concentrating, I can do it. They might not actually be very good, but it's turning it, they might still find it difficult, but it's kind of changing that internal dialogue so that they feel confident to have a go. And if we think about concentrating and persevering with a task, it's a very internal thing, isn't it? It's the keeping the calm, you're focused. No one else can make you concentrate. It's entirely you who makes yourself concentrate or makes yourself keep going with something or being really focused on something. So what we can do to help children is using coaching strategies, is just make them aware of when they are doing it. Now, for very young children or very hyperactive, inattentive children, you might have an older child with ADHD, that's going to look very different to other children. So it could be that it's very, very, very small bursts that you are seeing them concentrating, or trying an activity for. So you're going to be looking out for those times when you can see them focusing. You can see that it's them, might be, looking at a book or reading. You might see the concentration on the face. So what you want to do then is just label it for them. You're just going to be saying, oh, you're really concentrating then. I can see you're really trying hard on that. You're really focused on that. What that does is you're saying you are concentrating. They are hearing, I am concentrating. Therefore, if they hear you are concentrated and they're hearing I'm concentrating. Oh, I'm concentrating. What they're learning is this is what concentration feels like. What I'm doing is concentrating. So they're learning to link the actual term with what they're actually doing. And if they hear it often enough, they're going to feel confident that they know what that is. So when they're in that situation of you need to concentrate, they already know what that feels like, what they're doing with their body, what they're feeling like. They're going to know what concentrating is. Because if you think about it, it's actually quite an abstract concept, really, isn't it? You need to concentrate. Well, how do we do that? So by labeling to a child every time that they are concentrating or focusing on an activity, you're bringing their awareness to it and you're giving them the confidence to be able to do it a little bit more. Now, what often happens with this is you might see them being able to do it just a little bit longer and a little bit longer. For some children, you might just be looking for an extra second on an activity. But that extra second ends up being another second and another second. And before you know it, you've improved their ability to concentrate on a task for just that little bit longer. Now, the second element of persistence coaching that I was saying was the trying again, the keeping going. And I suppose the importance of this is it helps children to become independent. It helps them to actually understand that if they keep trying with something, they will master that task and they'll be able to do it. It can be really easy for us when children come up and go, I can't do it. Come here, I'll do it for you. And we just take it off them and we do it for them. Now, sometimes there needs to be an element of, you can keep going. You are keeping going. You're trying really hard. That's really tricky, but you're keeping going and you're persisting with that task. What that does is it helps them to stay focused on that task. So it kind of also links with the emotion coaching as well, because, especially with young children, what do we see when they get frustrated? We see the tantrum, we see the rage. With older children, we can see that as well. And it can be really important to label that emotion. Like, I can see that looks really frustrating, but you're doing an amazing job of keeping going. Now, it's interesting because the amount of times that I delivered this session, there's always someone who comes back and goes, yeah, I told them, keep going. What we find with something like, if you say to a child, keep going, is that's actually a command. You're not labeling what they're doing in the moment. You're telling them to keep going. But how do they know what that feels like to keep going if they don't feel confident to do it, if they don't know what that feels like, what that looks like? So what we're going to try and do, what I want you to try and do is start your sentences with you are. Because what that does is it helps you project it onto what they are actually doing. You're making it specific to your child and you are helping them to understand exactly what they are doing in that moment that is contributing to them keeping on going, concentrating, trying really hard, even though something might be really tricky or frustrating. For those of you who I'm working directly with, what I will do is email you out. our Incredible Years sheet that has some additional sentences. So we've got persistence coaching. We're going to talk about working really hard, concentrating, focusing, staying calm and being patient with something. That's also a really internal thing, isn't it? That we're staying calm and we're being really patient even though something might be annoying us. Trying again, really trying to work out how to solve a puzzle or a problem as well. So a bit of problem solving there. So some of the sentences that are suggested are: you're really thinking hard about how to solve the problem and you're coming up with a really good solution. You're staying calm and trying again. You're being really patient with that. You're trying to think of all ways to keep all the pieces, make all the pieces fit together. And you're working really hard on that puzzle and thinking about where that piece can go. So if you notice, all of the sentences started with "you are," and they're really labeling what that child is doing in the moment that's contributing to them eventually solving that problem. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. I'm going to email this out to you. And if you've got any questions, for those of you who I'm working directly with, then we can talk about it on the phone. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. Stay safe everywhere. Stay safe, everybody. And I think lockdown has kind of gone to my head now. So, bye.